After several months of lockdown regulations, the first international flight will land at the King Shaka International Airport in Durban. The Qatar flight from Doha is expected to land at 16:55 today. An Emirates flight was expected to land earlier in the day, but the airline has since cancelled its flight into Durban due to certain COVID-19 requirements for airline staff and passengers entering the country. Now, for more on this, we're joined by Karinda, Jagmohan, who is at King Shaka International Airport. Karinda, thank you so much for your time. I would imagine there's plenty of excitement on the ground, but also a lot of work that's gone into, accommodating this flight that's coming in.
Indeed, good afternoon to you. I'm outside the airport at the moment, and in fact officials at the airport have been in contact with us. They're excited. They're expecting a water cannon salute when the Qatar flight lands at just around 5 to 5 this evening, coming from Doha. This is the first international flight, like you said, to land at this airport after over 6 months of lockdown, and of course providing some reprieve now to businesses surrounding tourism and the airport industry. Like you said earlier, though, there was some cause for concern when the Emirates flight that was supposed to land in Durban at around 1 o'clock today cancelled its flight to Durban. This is because of the COVID-19 requirements that South Africa has for incoming flights, wherein they say that a COVID-19 negative test is needed for both travelers, that's passengers, as well as airline crew coming into this country, that must not be taken more than 72 hours before the departure from the country of origin. So of course this is a cause for concern for airline crew who are in a logistical manner have to go through various cycles of testing, and this of course, or rather the airlines are calling for a differentiation between airline crew and passengers coming in. We heard from the KZN MEC for Economic Development and Tourism, Nomusa Dube yesterday, who said she was engaging with the airline as well as the Ministry for Transport to discuss these various regulations and how to accommodate the airlines in terms of the logistical needs here, as they still of course try to find out or decide on how they can reopen borders. Borders were opened at the start of this month, and for this airport it's the first time that we are seeing an international flight land here after several months. Also speaking to the industry in terms of job opportunities, the MEC in a statement yesterday saying that the airport industry and surrounding tourism industry has jobs for over 472,000 people. This airport in particular has been operating since 2010 and carried over 10 million passengers in terms of both domestic and international air travel. So of course this now is going to provide some reprieve for those who urgently need it in the industry. They'll be able to return to their jobs and of course further provide for their families, because in this particular airport, when it was opened, a nearby industry was built, or rather housing industry was built, wherein employees from this airport would stay to work here. So of course this is going to provide them with some reprieve as they'll be able to return to their jobs. So lots of excitement here at this airport. We expect later in the day to speak to government officials, including the MEC for Economic Development and Tourism, who will shed some light on the challenges as well that we are seeing right now in the airport industry.
Now, very quickly, Karinda, before I let you go, so what's likely to happen when these passengers land and are then processed throughout the airport? What systems do they have in place on the ground?
Well, of course, while they have to undergo the normal processes in terms of coming into the country and crossing the border, checking their passports, they will also have to go through health screening measures. Their documents will be checked to ensure that they do have this COVID-19 negative test that was taken no more than 72 hours prior to their departure from the country of origin. And like you know, there are various passengers that cannot be allowed into the country. These are passengers or travelers differs rather from what we are referring to as high-risk countries where there are higher COVID-19 cases. Currently, South Africa is sitting at just over 679,000 cases. So, of course, to protect our numbers from further escalating or seeing a second surge, these health protocols will be in place along with the usual protocols to ensure that passengers coming through will be safe in terms of that they do not have or exhibit any symptoms of the virus and will be able to come through to do their work or travel for leisure in South Africa depending on their activities here.